Hi guys, welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Mandy and you can find me on the internet as Mandy Von Knits on Instagram or Ravelry. I am a 39-year-old woman from southeastern Michigan and I live here with my husband and my 2 kiddos. And it is freezing here. We're supposed to get snow this weekend and we started getting it yesterday, which was Friday. And there's just kind of a thin layer out right now, which I'll take because some other people that I know in New York said that they were getting like 14 and they've gotten already 14 inches and that was yesterday. So I will take our light dusting, but still it's very cold. Okay, that was the obligatory weather update. Let's go into admin first. So if you're new here, I give away a digital prize pattern every podcast. And the way that you enter for the prize is just to leave a comment down below. The comment can be anything that you want, just so that the random comment picker can pick your comment. The only rules are that the pattern prize has to be $15 USD or under, and you can only win the digital pattern prize once a month. Okay, with all of that said, the first thing that we're going to do is give away the physical prize. If you guys watched the podcast last week and entered, this would be for you. I am going to draw a winner to win this bag from AdoreKnit and to win this self-striping yarn from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. Now, this is a really cute self-striping Christmas color, and the color is Moody Holly. Now, this yarn is 80% merino, 20% nylon, and it is 400 yards fingering weight. So, I got this from my AdoreKnit Stitch Marker Advent. And I just decided that I thought it would be fun to kind of give it away. So I am going to leave a blank spot right here. And if that was you, please reach out to me and send me your address. You can reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits. Okay. Just send me your physical address and I will get the bag and the self-striping yarn out to you along with goodies, because I always like sending goodies as well. And I will get that shipped out to you. Okay, so now for the digital prize pattern. So I'm going to leave a blank spot right here. Okay, if that was you, please reach out to me on either Instagram or Ravelry as Mandy Von Knits and let me know what pattern prize that you want. And I will ship that off to you. Okay, so let's see. What are we going to talk about first? Because there's a bit to talk about. Let's start with what I'm wearing. If you guys followed me earlier in the year, I believe like in the middle of summer, I took on a test knit for Andrea Gaughan for the Willow Pullover. And this is it. And I knit this from... What did I knit this from? I must have said this yarn 800,000 times and I cannot remember what it's called at all. So I'm putting it down below. I really like the yarn. I really liked working with it. It's very soft, but I cannot remember the name. I'm sorry. I loved working on this sweater. It's basically a basket weave pullover. Words are just going to escape me today. I apologize. It's a basket weave pullover and you work from the bottom up. You work from the bottom until you separate for the sleeves right there. And I enjoyed it, and it's nice and comfy and cozy. It's especially good for today since it's so cold out. Okay, now that we've covered what I'm wearing and the prizes for last week's podcast, let's talk about what I'm knitting. So I have 2 new cast-ons to talk about. First of all, I cast on the Ranunculus. I have watched a lot of people knit the Ranunculus, and I have never knit it. And it seems like there are just a bazillion patterns on Ravelry, and everybody has knit it before. So let's talk about that first. This is the Ranunculus, in case for some reason you are not familiar with it. This is a pattern by Midori Hirose, and I am using a colorway called Electric Pink. And this is how the yarn looks. I love this color. This is a yarn from the Knitting Loft. It is called Care, and it is 70% silk and 30% mohair. Hang on. Let me show you the details on this. I don't know if you can see that, but I am hoping so. Oops, I'm dropping it, sorry. When I felt this, I love it. So I have a 9-year-old, an almost 10-year-old. She's gonna be 10 this month. So my daughter saw this yarn and she goes, "Are you gonna make me a sweater out of that?" I had to tell her no. I felt so bad about it. I felt kind of bad about it. I really want it to. So if it goes well, maybe we'll figure out, I don't know. I feel like I've been knitting a lot for her lately. If you watched last month, I just finished her Christmas sweater, and it was a very beautiful gradient sweater from, the gradient was from Mouse Witch Yarns. So I feel like I should knit this for me. So this is the start of the Ranunculus. Now, these are on huge needles. And it's funny, right? Because both of the new projects that I started are on huge knitting needles, and I'm just not used to it, and they've started to make my hands hurt. So for the Ranunculus, there are 2 different cast-ons that you can use. There is one that gives you a wider neckline, and there's one that gives you a smaller neckline. I went with the smaller neckline because I didn't want the neckline that big. So I feel like this is kind of the silhouette that I am looking for, that one right there. I really want the long sleeves, and I love the amount of ease that that garment has. So when I say that I'm making a ranunculus, my goal is to have it look like that. So we're gonna see how it goes. I cast this on because, well, let me start from the beginning. I was watching Belinda Baubles podcast, and she was talking about how she wanted to cast on a ranunculus. She has neon orange yarn, and I had recently gotten the Carrie yarn, and I left a comment, and I'm like, let me know whenever you want to cast it on, because I really want to do the ranunculus in neon pink. So she is doing a knit along, and I believe it's called the Topping It Off Mall. Yes, that's. I'm almost positive that's what it is. If not, I'll put it down below. So I believe the way that it works is that you can enter in any project that you started before December 31st. So on December 31st, she messaged me and she goes, "Are you going to cast on the ranunculus with me?" And yes, I did. I actually cast it on that night, and so I had it on by December 31st, and all was good. But I've been pretty excited to kind of try this sweater. I know that there are a lot of people out there who have said a lot of great things about it. So I figure that it's a good opportunity to kind of see what all the fuss is about, right? And it's knit in pretty big, it's knit with pretty big yarn. So, pretty big yarn? No, it's knit with pretty big needles. So I feel like it's not going to take that long to do. So that was my first cast on. I am hoping to concentrate on this a little bit more after I get my Advent sweater done, because if you guys have been watching, I have really wanted to kind of tie up my Advent sweater. So at the beginning of December, I started opening an Advent from Blackbird Sycamore Yarn. And I love the Advent, and I started knitting the Stripe Buster from Amy Gunderson. Now, halfway through December, I tore the whole thing out. Of course I did. And I started over on a completely different project. So, this is the project that I have been focusing mainly on because I want to get it done. It's January now, so I'm all done opening my Advent, and I really love how this is turning out. I don't regret ripping out the Stripe Buster at all, but I kind of wish I had chosen this one to begin with. So the pattern that I started working on and the pattern that I'm working on now is the Baseline Cardigan from Susanne Sommer. And this is actually knit in DK weight yarn. So I am showing you guys pictures of how it looks. And I just want to give you a caveat that says I am working on this in fingering weight yarn. So I've been kind of having to do math as I go and kind of working out how I need to modify certain steps in the pattern, because obviously the gauge isn't going to be the same. Now, this cardigan is worked in garter stitch, which is great. And you can actually, what am I trying to say? You can swap any different amount of colors that you want. You'll see what I'm talking about when I hold it up here. Now, this is what I have so far. I'm showing you the back. So, from last time, you can see I've completed both sides here. So it's almost like I have a vest. A vest with no ribbing. So I need to do the sleeves and the ribbing. I've loved how this is working up so far. And let's see how weird this is gonna look. I'm gonna move up the chair some because otherwise it's gonna keep hitting the door and drive me nuts. Okay. It was much easier last week to put it on when only half was there. Okay, so this is what we have going on so far. If you can ignore the fact I have a basket weave sweater underneath it, you can kind of see I've got a deep V-neck here. And basically a vest. So once the ribbing goes in, it will kind of pull up a little bit, and I just need to work the sleeves. I should have probably thought a little bit harder about putting that on. I'm getting kind of my knitting stuck in my knitting needles. Okay, but this has been what I've been focusing most of my attention on. It is quite the project. It's quite the project because I am switching my colors every 2 stripes. 4 stripes. So you can see I have, let me see if I can kind of poke through to show you. So I've got a color stripe there, and then I go to this paper color, the same color stripe, then the paper color, and then another color stripe. So I basically have a repeat of 4 rows. 2 paper, 2 color, and then I kind of change out the color for the next advent color. My idea is I am going to continue working the colors down the sleeve, and I guess I can show it better on the back here. So I started, where's the middle? The middle is right here. So I don't know how easy this is going to be to see, but I started days 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here I went day 1 and then started at the very end. So I've got, what is it, 24 or 25? I can't remember. But I basically go descending this way and ascending that way. I thought that would give me kind of the most color vibrancy, color randomness. It's not even random because it's very much a fade when you kind of lay it out. But I thought that it would look really nice if I did the fade one way, and then since the fade is kind of almost a circular fade, it can go the other way as well. But with all of that said, I've been struggling today because what did I do? I've been working on this side. Yes, this side. And I was working down here because you work it sideways all the way here, and there were like a million repeats I had to do. And then finally I got to where I 3-needle bound off, and I'm looking at it, and I'm actually going to put up some pictures. So I started looking at the other side that I 3-needle bound off, and I noticed that, and you guys are gonna laugh, but it drove me nuts, that I had 2 days right next to each other. So I had 4 of the same color in a row with the paper in between. And I'm putting up pictures so you can see what I mean, and I'll put some arrows just because it probably wouldn't bother anyone else besides me, but it was driving me crazy. So I'm like, oh, come on, guys. I'm gonna have to pull this 3-needle bind off out and fix it. So I'm like, I tried to push it back to the back of my mind. I went over to the other side. I started working, because before you 3-needle bind off, you kind of do a couple of the ridges flat, after you split for the sleeves to kind of build out the side just a tiny bit more. And then by the time I was done working the ridges, I'm like, okay, this is gonna bother me. I really need to do this. So I 3-needle bound off this side with the colors the way that I wanted. Basically not 4 of the same color stripes in a row, just 2. And then I took out the other side and I fixed it, and it made me super happy, and it was very super silly, and nobody else would have ever noticed it, and it wouldn't have bothered anyone else. And it's not even that it looked bad. I I saw it, and once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Do you guys ever feel like that? Like, once you see something in your knitting and you know it's gonna bother you, that's it. You're gonna have to fix it. So that's where I ended up with that. So I have quite a bit going on in kind of the knitting world. A lot of works in progress for me. If you've been following my podcast, you know that generally I am someone who has maybe 2 or 3 works in progress at a time. And now I have 5-ish. And that's just too much. So what I am planning on doing is I really want to focus my attention on this Advent sweater for however long it takes me to finish it. So this is going to be finished first. After that, I am going to work on the Kiviot cowl. It's a Kiviot lace cowl that I have that I've been neglecting for my Advent cardigan, and I would really like to get done. It is a lace cowl with beads, and it's done in Kiviot yarn that I got for my birthday. So that is the next finished item that you'll see. After that, I feel like I'll be back to a more manageable level. And then we can talk. But this is another new cast on that I've started working on. Now, this came out of necessity. This is the Friend to Friend, and this pattern is by Leslie Friend, and it is, I don't know what you would qualify this as. I keep wanting to say it's like a shoulder warmer, but I feel like it's like a poncho maybe. So I'm putting up some pictures of how the finished item looks, and I am using Lion Brand Hue and Me, and I have this dark navy color, and like I said, I picked this pattern from necessity, and I picked it because my shoulders are always cold, and I'm constantly sitting by a heater, and I don't want to have to constantly sit by the heater, so I feel like I can wear this, and it's going to be a good way to keep my shoulders warm without having to worry about like a shawl or something kind of slipping down from my shoulders. So I took this with me to my aunt and uncle's on New Year's Day. And I actually only brought this, and that was the only day that I worked on it. So I feel like just a little bit longer and I'll probably be done with this. So I'm going to be keeping this around for kind of some mindless round and round knitting. I've really liked how simple the pattern is, how easy it is to follow, and how much I was just enjoying being able to talk with my family while I was knitting. So I really did enjoy working on this. And now I have to put it away. That's the only bad thing about working with bulky yarn is I need bigger bags to work with it. This also is working up on a size 11. So that's 8mm. If you are a regular viewer, you know that I do a lot of stuff in fingering weight yarn. So at least garments. At least my garments generally tend to be finger weight yarn. Okay, this is the last project that I'm going to show you because I feel like even though I could show you my muscle burrow, I don't feel like there's enough to bring it out to show you. Because I was just working on it for a little bit while I played some video games with my daughter. This is the Wildflower Pullover. And this is a test knit from Andrea Gaughan. And this is an all over colorwork sweater, and I am using Holst ties on it. And I'm enjoying how it's working up. The rows are pretty long, but I am just getting there one kind of row at a time. I feel like I love the way the colors look, and the contrast makes me so happy. It does. Yeah, it definitely does. I've always wanted kind of a black, white, and red sweater, and I feel like this is just perfect. So this is my first time using Holst ties, and it's a lot softer than this whole super soft that I've used. I really like this a lot more than whole super soft, and super soft didn't bother me. I've made a sweater out of it before. I'll make more sweaters out of it. It didn't bother me, but like I said, this is just softer. So that is what I've been working on for that project. Now, I know I blew through my knitting because I have some patterns that I want to talk to you guys about. And I haven't talked to you about patterns in quite a bit, so I'm kind of excited about it. Sorry, I'm trying to straighten up here. Okay. Oh, you know what? Before I talk about patterns, I just want to say, so it's a new year, right? I went through all of my yarn. I have all of my yarn separated in separate, not Ziploc. They are PVC. I'm trying to think of how to describe them. They're not Ziploc bags, but they're zippered pouches. They're zippered plastic pouches. How's that? And they're all labeled. All of the pouches are labeled with what's in them. And each of the pouches are put into storage containers with like the weight of the yarn that's in the storage container. So every single yarn I have has a place and a purpose and a spot. And I know where all of it is, and I am so happy. It makes my heart so happy. My husband helped me. He is such a sweetheart. And it's just great. Like, if I need lace yarn, I have a box that says lace on it. And when I open that box, I've got it all sorted into different containers based on like, well, I guess it's based on brand or color or however I felt like storing that. So say I had a bunch of different mohair remnants, I would just basically put mohair on it and kind of put it in there. But if I had like a sweater's weight quantity of a certain type of yarn, I would label that. So anyways, I didn't mean to go off on a segue. I'm just so proud of myself because that was something that was a long time coming, and I'm very proud I did it. And yay! Yay! Okay, so let's talk about patterns. Let me get this bag out of the way. Okay, first of all, have you guys seen any awesome patterns lately? If you have ran across any patterns and you want to let me know about them, please leave them in the comments down below. I love to hear what you guys are looking at, what you're interested in, what has caught your eye lately. So always feel free to do that. The first one that I am going to talk about is a new release from Wool and Pine. Okay, so this is called a Sundial wrap, and this is a really cool wrap. This is garter stitch and it's mosaic. Now, it says that you need around 14 grams per color for this. So this is like the ultimate scrappy project. It says it's designed to turn your treasured mini skeins, advent sets, hand spun, and colorful straps into a stunning wearable textile with stripes that only need 14 grams of fingering weight yarn. Sundial makes it easy to mix, match, and play with color in a way that feels both intentional and joyfully improvised. The wrap features mosaic knitting, an easy colorwork technique using only knits and slip stitches, no purls at all. Each row is worked with one color at a time because it's mosaic. So it says that the yardage that you need is between 1,500 and 1,630 yards. So obviously you can customize the length to however long exactly you're looking at, but it says the sample is 17 inches wide, 96 inches long, measured tip to tip on the bias. So the thing that I love most about this is that it's knit and garter stitch. So what I've learned from the Baseline cardigan is that it's a lot easier for me to weave in the ends with garter stitch. And I don't know if it's because the garter stitch doesn't lay as flat, so it's kind of like more of a textured fabric, so it's just easier for me to duplicate stitch my ends. But whatever it is, it's a lot better. So I can definitely see this being an awesome pattern to knit, being in garter stitch, plus being mosaic. That means that you only need to use one color at a time. And I just wanted to mention that to you guys. It is only, let's see, it is $6.75 USD. So that is a pretty good price. I really like that picture right there. Oh, I cannot. There we go. Okay, so this one is pretty cool. This is called the Cable Stayed Cardigan. And let me talk to you guys about how this is actually constructed, because I was reading about it and it sounded super neat to me. So this is knit in worsted weight yarn. The suggested yarn is Miss Babs Yowza. Okay, but with all of that said, this pattern is knit. It's raglan. So you knit the sleeves and the back with your typical raglan increases. You don't do the front like that. Once you knit the sleeves and the back all the way down, you pick up sideways for the fronts. Let me see if they're going to explain it better. Okay, so the Cable Stayed Cardigan is an open front, seamless, and top-down raglan cardigan with unusual construction. First, the yoke is worked as a traditional raglan, but without fronts. Only the back and sleeves are worked. When the yoke is finished, stitches for the fronts are picked up along the front sides of the sleeves, and the body is worked top down. The fronts are shaped with increases at the sides starting from the underarms and decreases at the center. There is waist shaping at the back for a flattering fit. Most of the body is worked in stockinette stitch, while the wedge-shaped areas where increases are worked on the front, waist shaping at the back, and raglan seams have a cable pattern on reverse stockinette stitch background. So I always like finding unique constructions. And this pattern is from Ewelina Murach. And I have knit her Summer in a Box. And I have her Summer in a Box cardigan pattern that I'm hoping to work on sometime next year. But when I saw this, I thought that it was pretty cool. It is also worsted weight, so it'd be a very good cardigan for me to have during the winter. But I need to start thinking, I should start thinking about next winter's knits, and this might be a good one to do. It says you need 1,200 to 2,310 yards. So the sizes available are 32 3/4 inches to 57 inches. So 32 3/4. I could make this for my daughter, and it would just be it would be a little oversized, but we could still have matching cardigans. And that's kind of always something I'm looking for whenever I look for a pattern. Because she loves she loves looking at the stuff that I'm knitting and saying, oh, hi mom, when are you making that for me? She keeps seeing my Baseline cardigan and going, oh, that's so pretty. Yeah, I knew you would think it's pretty, kiddo. It's all the colors. We both love all the colors. So if there's ever something that both my daughter and I have in common, it's cats, and we both love bright, vibrant, and lots of colors. Okay, so are there any dog fans out there? Because I saw this and I thought it was pretty cute. This is called the Hundreds of Dogs sweater. And this motif, and I'm sure I'm trying to get a better one on the screen than this poor black and white picture, but this motif I thought was super cute. This is knit in light fingering yarn, and the gauge is 31.5 stitches and 35 rows, is 4 inches in colorwork chart. So it says, Hundreds of Dogs sweater is a relaxed fit sweater filled with a cute puppy pattern. It is knit with a stranded colorwork, so it is light but warm. As for sizing available, it's extra small to double X or 2XL, but where's the inches? We've got 35 and 4/5 inches to 49 and 3/5 inches. But I'm trying to figure out what the actual sweater size is, because it looks like it's got some positive ease going. So let's read more about it. Chest circumference includes positive ease of 4 to 4 3/4 inches. So I guess it's not as much positive ease as I thought. Okay, so this pattern is called Raspberry Tart, and the yarn weight for this is DK. Now, what really grabbed my attention about this sweater is the neckline, and I really liked it. I'm sure the pictures that I am putting up are doing it more justice than this, but let's read about it. It says that the yarn weight is DK and the gauge is 20 stitches and 28 rows equal 4 inches in stockinette stitch. So, the Raspberry Tart is a top-down seamless pullover with cable patterns on the front, back, and sleeves. The upper yoke of the pullover is worked in rib pattern and shaped with using 3 needle sizes as well as increases. The lower yoke is worked in stockinette stitch and cable patterns and shaped with raglan-like double increases. So I thought that this was worth mentioning. I also want to mention that this is free. This pattern is free, and the sizes available are between 28. So it says extra small 1, which is 28, and extra large 2, which is 46. I am not winning with the size inclusive patterns today. I apologize. So, really useful train engine mittens. Now, I saw these and I thought they were really cute. These are some engine mittens that are knit in the inspiration of Thomas the Train. My son and daughter actually both loved trains growing up. So when I saw these, I just thought they were super cute and had to share. The best part about these is that you have the really cute trains that are looking right and left depending on what hand you're there for. And then you have the really cute pattern on the back. So this pattern is also free. And it says, after searching for the perfect train mitten for a train-obsessed toddler, I came across a pattern chart that was no longer available and had a holiday deadline. Reviewing a number of projects and spending way too much time playing around with charts, I came up with these mittens with one train facing right for the right hand and one facing left. The colors and numbers relate to Thomas the Tank Engine family of trains. Blue number 1 for Thomas, green number 3 for Henry, and red number 5 for James. Feel free to adapt this for your train-centric recipient. There are right hand and left hand charts, with the train of right hand train facing to the right, and you guessed it, the left hand train facing to the left. Okay, so I want to show you this. This is called the CatKnit Pullover. This is by Andrea Rangel. And if you know me, you know I love cats. Can you see that yoke? It's amazing. This pattern was gifted to me by Karen from Bobblehead Knits, and I will link her podcast down below. And I'll also link Belinda Bobbles because I mentioned her as well. But Karen gifted this to me because she said that when she saw it, she thought of me. And I have to admit that I saw this pattern when it came out and I was like, oh my God, I love it, because I do. I love this. This is a pullover that's knit in fingering weight yarn, and the gauge is 31 stitches and 37 rows, is 4 inches in stockinette. You need between 1,551 and 3,225 yards. So the sizes available for this are between 34.5 to 71 3/4 inches. So that's really size inclusive. It says, knit yourself a cute little cat sweater. From far away, you've just got on an elegant yoke pullover, but when folks get a closer look, they'll see so many cats, all extremely pleased with themselves, like they've just gotten to enjoy some catnip. This sweater is called CatKnit Knit for the cats, but also because of how fun and engaging it is to knit and to see those adorable kitties emerging as you work. So be on the lookout for this one this year. I think I might want to use more whole tides for this. I think that would actually be perfect. I'm just not sure what colors to use yet, so I'm gonna have to think about it. I really want to use that blue. Maybe blue and white, like blue on the background and white for the cats. So let me know what you guys think. I have cream, black, red, and white. So something along those lines. I need to think about it. I would love a cat yoke sweater. I feel like I'd probably never want to take it off. Okay, so this is an oversized pullover that's called Iris. And let me see do you see the shoulders right there? Let me read to you about this. It says, the pullover is worked top down as a dropped shoulder construction. It starts at the shoulder with 2 sets of double knitting cast on, which will give the impression of a tight line of stitches running down the shoulder. So I think that is really a really cool way to cast on. If you guys cannot tell, those are flowers, which explains the name Iris. It says, the shoulder and the initial neckline shaping for back and front are worked flat and main color using short rows before it is all joined in the round for the color work with steek stitches for the armhole and neckline openings. Yoke and body are then finished top down in the round with a faux seam at the sides as a special feature. Steeks can be cut open while knitting the body or before starting the sleeves. Sleeve stitches are then picked up around the armhole opening and sleeves are worked top down in the round as well. Finally, the stitches for the folded neckband are picked up around the neckline to finish the sweater. It says the pattern uses a total of 8 colors, 7 for the color work and another 1 for the ribbing. With all of that said, it says the color work motif is worked with only 2 colors per round throughout. So, with all of that said, it says you use 7 colors. You use a total of 8 colors and 7 colors for the body of the sweater and then another 1 for the ribbing. But with all of that said, you could work this in just 2 colors if you really wanted to. And I could totally see this done in like a white and a black. That would be really stark and cool. So this pattern is $8.69 USD, which is really cool. And the sizes available are between 1 and 6, and it uses a yardage of 2,327 yards to 4,171 yards. I'm losing it today. But you can tell it's pretty oversized. I do like that. I love whenever my sweaters are oversized. I love the idea of just maybe doing this in 2 colors or 3 colors at the most. But I would really have to kind of take a look at the chart and see, maybe do like a sample swatch to see what it would look like. But when I saw this, I thought it was really cute. This actually came out in December. So it does use, the suggested yarn is Holzgarn Super Soft. So the gauge is 28.5 stitches and 32 rows, is 4 inches. So, okay. I did include some crochet. And I saw this one and I thought it was actually really cool. This is a crochet along. So this is the Connexxion crochet along, and this is for a blanket. Now, it says that it's for intermediate crocheters. So just be cautious if you're not an intermediate crocheter, because that's who it's for. The crochet along starts in it's January. It starts January 2nd, so it's already started by the time you see this. It's already started by now. It's like January 4th. It's Saturday. So this pattern is by Anke Wintermans, and it says it's for advanced crocheters. This blanket is made in overlay mosaic technique and can only be crocheted from the center out. Some of the squares have 4 different sides which require extra attention. If you haven't done any pattern from the center out, I would strongly suggest you check out tutorials for this technique before you start on this project. This is a crochet along where you will receive weekly pattern updates with new parts of the pattern from the 2nd of January 2025. The crochet along runs for 10 weeks. I thought that blanket was really pretty. I don't know if I could manage to do it. I don't think I'm what you would consider an advanced crocheter. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't like to think that I could make that if I tried really, really hard. So if anybody's interested in a crochet along, that is available. Okay, I ran across this one and I really do like this. I like this because exactly the reason that they mention kind of, or what they mention in the pattern. Do you see how the stripes don't start until the specific spot after the shoulders? I really like that look. And I don't even know what exactly I would call it. But this is Parnell from the Berroco. Yeah, the Berroco design team. So this is knit in sport weight yarn. And this actually came out in October of 2017. So it's been out a bit. But if you look at the stripes, and I'm all about stripes lately, I like to think you can do a lot of different things with the stripes on this sweater. So the bust sizes available are between 37 and 57 inches. This is a free pattern, so you're welcome to take a look at it. It's on the Berroco website. I'll put a link up as usual. The suggested yarn and the yarn that the sample's knit in is Berroco Ultra Alpaca Light, which I've never used before. But it says it's a sport weight yarn, and the gauge is 23 stitches and 32 rows, is 4 inches in stockinette stitch. So the needle size is 4 millimeters and 3.25 millimeters. And it says, Parnell uses 2 shades of Berroco Ultra Alpaca Light to create an oversized Brayton-inspired pullover. The stripes are worked in the body and sleeves, but the shoulders are worked in a solid color for a chic look. So I really love how the shoulders are knit in a solid color like that. You know what would be fun? I would totally make this sweater in like a black with neon pink stripes and maybe like 1 green stripe, because I think that would be fun. Yes, I feel like I keep talking about wanting an all black sweater with like neon stripes and like a dash of green, but I haven't made one yet. I definitely need to. Okay, this is actually another free pattern. This is the Ethniu cardigan, and this is by Carrie Chambers. So this is crochet, and I was looking at this on her website, and it looks like it's crocheted in 2 pieces with minimal seaming, because the designer says that she's not a big fan of seaming. So I thought that that would be kind of fun to show you guys. I know I don't show a lot of crochet garment patterns, but I've really been trying to. So if you guys know of any that you really like, let me know. This is, the yarn weight for this is sport, and it's, the suggested yarn says Garn Studio Drop Saffron. And I'm not sure what that is. So I definitely have to look it up. Well, let's see. It says on the side of it that it's 100% Egyptian. That's what Ravelry says. So I don't know what that means. For some reason, I'm going to assume it means Egyptian cotton. But as you can tell, that's what Ravelry is giving me. So it says that the yardage you need is between 1,100 and 1,400 yards. And the sizes available are between small and 3XL, which isn't terrible. With crochet, I am inclined to say, and this is, I don't want to be too generic or too general, like to make too much of a broad stroke statement, but with crochet, it seems like the patterns are generally a lot easier to modify size-wise. And that is because, at least in my experience, a lot of the crochet patterns that I've done, garment-wise, have started out by saying knit or crochet this many inches, or crochet until you, how am I trying to say this? It's just a lot easier to kind of manipulate crochet, try it. I'm talking myself into a circle. It's just been quite a week. Happy New Year, guys. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Just trust me when I say that a lot of times with crochet, it seems to be a little bit easier to kind of manipulate sizes because of how crochet designers word patterns and how they kind of design patterns. Okay, so I generally try to show you guys a pattern that a previous pattern winner has picked. So I have this one, and this is the Lifesavers by Tanis Lavallee. And I think that this is adorable. And the person that actually picked this said that she would show me when she knit some of it. So I'm super excited about it, about seeing that, because I think that whenever you guys tag me or show me pictures of things that you have knit or crocheted with the patterns that you have gotten, it makes my heart so happy. I always show my husband, I'm like, look. He thinks I'm crazy. That's okay. Anyways, this pattern is knit in fingering weight yarn. The gauge is 25 stitches and 31 rows, is 4 inches in stockinette stitch. So the sizes available for this are between 28 inches and it says 68 inches, but there are asterisks. And, oh, I see. Okay. So it says, no, it's 28 inches to 68 inches. Okay. I love the stripes. I have been such a big fan of stripes lately. I think the stripy unicorn kind of started that off for me. So this is like the perfect cardigan, right? I love the way that it fits. I love the V-neck and I love the stripes. So it says, last summer, I was bit by the color bug in a big way. Sitting and gazing at my lovely urn of leftover sock yarn scraps inspired me to cast on for my perfect cardigan. Simple in shape and construction, but with endless possibilities in terms of color and impact. Who doesn't love rainbow stripes? The perfect light layer, this cardigan has become a wardrobe staple, and I don't know how I ever managed to live without it. Finished bust size clothes, 28 inches to 68 inches. So it says the samples shown is size 32 and a half, worn with 1 inch of negative ease. This would be like just the perfect wardrobe staple, I want to say, because she's right. This cardigan could be so many different things. You could knit it in a solid color. You could get rid of half the stripes or knit it in all the stripes or make all the stripes one color or every stripe a different color. You guys get the picture, right? It's the perfect, I love patterns that are kind of a great template. And you can just take that pattern and make it exactly what you want it to be. So I'm always looking for patterns like that. And I was really excited to see this one. It says it's knit in one piece, seamless, and stripes. It also has the V-neck on it. And I think that was it. So, okay guys, that was all of the patterns that I have for you. I hope that you guys are having an amazing new year. And if you are interested in entering for the digital prize pattern for next week, just leave a comment down below and check next week to see if you win. If you did win either prize from this week, just shoot me an email or message me at Mandy Von Knits on either Instagram or Ravelry. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!